right, so the next thing we're going to do is create the wall material, and we're not going to model it. This is an icon, sort of a abstract version of it, and the scale is not quite there. Maybe we're not sure if we're going to use this or not, so we don't want to spend a lot of time modeling it. We just want to be able to call it out in our drawing. And so if we take a look at how this guy is made, it's 30 inches by 30 inch tile, right? And then it has these little ribs in it that are at 1.88 inches on center, and they're a little offset from the end, but we're not going to worry about that too much. So let's go ahead and sort of start this process. So we'll go back to Revit, but we're in Revit. We'll go back to the materials, and we'll go to the wall. So we could rename this one turf torrent, right? And let's work with the graphics first. Let's do the foreground pattern and the surface pattern first. And so what we can do is we can put a foreground and a background pattern on this. So if I go to the foreground pattern here, I can come in and click on this guy, and it will allow me to do a drafting pattern, which will be the same size no matter what scale it's presented at. So a drawing at 1/8 of a scale next to a drawing of 1/2 inch scale, the size of this would accommodate the scale and be the same pattern in both at the same size. But I want a model pattern because I want it to maintain a certain size. And so there's a 30 by 30 net in here that I already made. So if I select it and I edit it, it's basically a crosshatch set to 2'6" by 2'6". And the way you would make that would be you would just come down to new fill pattern and you would give it a name. So I called it 30 by 30 net, and you would say crosshatch, right? And you would get rid of the diagonal, and then you would just put 30 inches by 30 inches, and it would make a 30 inch by 30 inch, but not 30 feet, 30 inches, a 30 by 30 inch grid, right? So I've already done that. I would just click OK and have the name, and it would show up. And so we just pick that 30 by 30 net and click OK. And that's kind of the background. That's the 30. So I'm going to make it a really light gray when it shows up. So let's go ahead and go to this swatch here, and I'm going to pull this down to make it kind of a maybe about right there so you can see it. Maybe a little lighter there. And then I'll just hit add, and it'll add it to that swatch there, and I'll click OK, and it'll add that. And then for the background, I'll come in, and you can't do a model on both of them. So this one, we're just going to have to scroll down, and I'll just do like a vertical small. And I'll leave that at a little darker gray, right? And if I go ahead and click OK now and go back to my 1.2, right? And we go look at it, you're going to get this grid, right? So you're going to get the small lines with the other grid lines behind it. It won't match up perfectly, but it's going to look, pretty close to what, or at least it'll be an icon in terms of like what that thing is going to look like. Okay. And then when we come back, we'll make the textured part of it.